What's going on, guys and gals? Mopar Man 1978 out here this morning. Yesterday and today was such a nice day. All I've been doing is working on the car for a few hours and then rest up for an hour or two before I go to work. But anyway, started back here yesterday. Besides switching over to, I don't know if you can see them over there, the rims. Getting all four of them finished, primered, and cured and baked in the sun. I got those all ready for the Rust-Oleum gloss black industrial grade spray paint. I don't know if you saw these. Got those all, the front drums and the rear drums all painted with the Rust-Oleum high temp gloss black header, or not header, but high temp grill paint. And back here yesterday and then today, I already got the wheel cylinders and the brake parts and everything off of the rear end, and the rear brake lines and everything else. And surprisingly, this never happened before. The bolts that go into the back of the wheel cylinder never snapped off. They came right out, so I'll be saving that. I might be, depending on the condition inside of the wheel cylinders and whatnot, I might be cleaning them up, rehoning them, and putting a new kit in there to save a little bit of money maybe. I haven't decided yet. The fittings, brake line fittings, even though they're really nasty and rusty, surprisingly the fittings unscrewed and came off without snapping the line off. We're not going to trust the lines at all from A to Z. I should say front to back. We're getting a whole new kit from inline tubing, but we found another spot that has it in stock, because inline tubing, I think, has the basic metal instead of the stainless steel ones still in stock. So we're going to be buying that kit. And yeah, just let me show you. I also removed the gas tank, because the gas tank is in pretty sad shape. Here is the old sending unit. It's seen a lot better days. It's pretty pitted. The sock has rotted off. I'll have to test it to see if it even works. I don't think it did. And yeah, here's what's left of the old sock. It just fell right, it washed right out of the tank when I emptied the tank out of the old nasty gas. Make sure, and we're going to be replacing the donut. The donut seems fine except for this one little spot right here. I don't know if you can see that. It's looked like it's been chewed up and crushed. It wasn't fully installed or something, but we're not going to use that. We're going to get a new one. And also, unless you guys already know this, for the newbies, make sure you save your old lock ring off the gas tank. These new ones are sometimes a piece of shit, pardon my language. So save the old school stuff unless it's just way too far gone, but this is in really good shape. It was covered in like a layer of oily soot, so it was protected, luckily. Gas tank was in pretty piss poor shape. Let's get it out here in the sun and I'll show you. I'm letting it air out since I've it's got a lot of surface rust on it. Luckily, I don't think it was leaking, but we're not going to take the chance. There's the big problem. Somebody must have been four-wheeling or doing something or whatever, but lots of dings, lots of big dents in the gas tank on the front and on the bottom. Could have came from when they had that before, actually, I should say, when they had that trailer hitch installed, and I noticed they put a big heavy-duty coilover shocks underneath the car. Maybe it bottomed out at one point, and a bunch of stuff had smacked the bottom of the gas tank. Anyway, I tried to find online these sorry guys, let's turn the old light on. These old school coilover shocks. The coils on them are pretty heavy duty. I tried to look at the part number down on the bottom of the leg of the shock. I couldn't match anything. I'm kind of wondering if these are truck shocks, maybe. Because the ones I can get on Rock Auto or Parts Geek for like $80 some for the set don't necessarily look the same. The coils look a little bit thinner. But the other thing I was doing today, this rear end, I'm going to have to replace the front seal. And while I'm at it, and I'm going to have the cover off, I might as well just replace the end seals just while we're at it. I guess they've just been driving it for years, and they had a leak on the front and this whole entire thing, especially the front, especially the back in places. It had at least an inch, half an inch to an inch thick caked on grease crud, and I had to basically use a big straight edge screwdriver as a chisel to get it all off there, and then I had to use a much smaller little straight edge to get it in between all the little nooks and crannies. I finally got all this stuff off. I'm gonna have to clean the front off, and then I'm gonna let everything soak in engine degreaser or purple power or crude cutter or something to get the rest of the shit off of there, and then get all that cleaned off. And then this whole rear end is going to get painted with some rust killer, and then I'm going to put some heavy duty industrial grade either black epoxy paint or heavy duty gloss black industrial paint of some sort on here, and get this all done up. And I'm thinking about just over the Arkansas border from us, probably about, I don't know, somewhere between 45 and 75 miles away from us, maybe a little bit more. There's a place that chrome stuff, and just for shits and grins, I'm gonna have this cover taken off. They said don't mess with it, just send it to them, and I think for like $100 and some bucks, they'll completely re-chrome this, including the cover, the cap, the screw-in cap. They go through the process of cleaning it and doing what they need to do to get it replated or chrome plated. So I thought that looked pretty cool. The other thing I'm going to do is paint the shocks, or not the shocks, but the leaf springs. Found online where I can get the what looks like factory adjustable shackles that has the adjustment holes in it. Buy that. I'm going to buy all the since the polyurethane kit for the shackles and the main eye up on the front of the leaf springs is pretty cheap. It comes in a kit from like Energy Suspension or something like that. I'm just going to go ahead and do the whole thing and put new grade 8 bolts with the anti-rust coating and stuff like I did on the truck and the Dart and so on, the Jeep, and get this cleaned up. And this morning I've been out here, and as you can see from the seatbelt hole, stud holes forward has not been undercoated yet. I went through and did the this stuff here. Let's see here, let's see if we can get to focus. Yeah, there we go. 2-in-1 rust, reform, and seal. A rubberized black coating. Some of this stuff I might be going over that actually has a factory rubberized undercoating. I'll actually be using the Rust-Oleum professional grade rubberized undercoating that has rust preventer in it too, just for extra protection to keep. And then I got to come back here. This is the driver's side over here, so I got to come up to a certain spot and stop because I'm going to have to do some grinding and cutting and patching on this inner panel here, and then I'm going to have to do the body one on this side. But first, in between the two panels, I'm going to have to flush out between the two panels of all the excess road grime and dirt and shit that's built up in there, and then I'll make sure I put a fan on it or whatever and let it thoroughly dry for a day or two, and then do what I need to do to finish that patchwork over here. Like I said, I started from the back side of the bumper, worked all my way forward. I'm going to send you upside down here. Got all this done underneath the from where the gas tank goes all the way up to there, and this took me about 2 cans, so I'd say about another 4 cans total will get the underside of the car finished up. But anyway, like I said, replace that, and I'm going to still take the cover off. Let's see where we're at. The rear end to see if there's any fluid left in there and what it looks like. I'm still going to take the cover off no matter what and change the fluid out. But hopefully it's not a sure grip, but hopefully it's not too bad, because I don't know if you can hear this when I barely move the axle back and forth. Has very little play in it, which is good. Oh, sorry guys. This side barely has any play in it too, so that's good. So that means the spider gears and the shaft that the spider gears rotate on, it doesn't have a bunch of slack in it, and the housing that rotates in there, or that main shaft that the spider gears rotate on, doesn't have hardly any slack in it, so that's a good thing. But yeah, anyway, yeah, just some odds and ends. I think that new gas tank, I looked it online for Valiant, was only like $130 to $160 somewhere in there, give or take. But that'd be a good investment. And also another thing that I've read in Hot Rod magazine many years ago, 101 Tech Tips. Get your new gas tank, completely wash it down with like carbon choke cleaner or some type of lacquer thinner or something, and get that sticky oily coating that they put on the new gas tanks off of there, completely off. Get it all wiped down, get it all off the gas tank, and I guess it helps to keep it from rusting or corroding, even though it's supposed to be like galvanized or whatever. But anyway, they said in Hot Rod magazine, go and buy the aluminum engine paint, because aluminum engine paint not only has the aluminum in it, but it also has porcelain that's talcum powder consistency. Sorry about that. And when you shake it up real good and put in a nice few coats on the top, the sides, and the bottom of the gas tank, and let it fully cure up, because I did the top half and the sides, the top half and the top sides first, set it out in the sun when we got the new gas tank for the Jeep, and I let it bake for part of a day, and then I flipped it over and I painted the other half and let it bake for the other half of the day. And what it does is, they said that the porcelain in it helps as an insulator, and during like the winter or whatever, kind of helps the gas stay warm, so to speak. But it's mostly made for the summertime, when you got all that heat coming off of the engine and transmission and exhaust, and then you got all the heat radiating off the pavement and whatnot. That aluminum and the porcelain the porcelain acts as an insulator, keeps the heat away, and the aluminum reflects the heat. So there's a little bit of a tech tip in this video about helping your gas tank. It helps the gas stay cooler, especially during the summertime. Anyway, I rambled on long enough. Stay tuned for more.